Welcome to Unbiased. I'm your humble host, Will. I'm back at you with another video. Before I get into this video, can you please like and share and subscribe on my new platform and I'm trying to grow. Now, this is going to be my first college football video. We had spring practice yesterday, well, the 8A game yesterday in Alabama. And the people that know me, I'm a Alabama fan. If you don't know me now, you know. I'm a big time Alabama fan. I'm from Birmingham and just roll tide all day. But yesterday, I watched little highlights of it. Cause I was busy. I don't even know that they played the game. Televised the game. I don't think they did that because I think a lot of teams are backing away from that. So, um, I'm looking at the quarterbacks. I was looking at the quarterbacks and seeing how they played. Austin Mack, he was kind of average. I did like what I saw out of what is his name, Keelan Russell. I did like what I saw out of him. He was like he was taking some steps forward, like he was commanding the offense, like he knew exactly what he was doing. Here and there, he kind of held the ball a little bit too long, but for his decision making, he knew exactly what to go with the ball or where the ball's supposed to go. He threw it with accuracy. I like what I saw out of him. Now, uh, you keep going online and you looking and seeing what people are saying. A lot of people were impressed, but they still got Austin Mack is the projected starter. I do think it is a battle. It is a battle. They were saying that before, spring battle, spring practice and the 8A game is going to be a battle. It's wide open. But I do think they're going to give Austin Mack a chance just because he's older. He been there longer. But if he get outplayed, bro, he get outplayed. That's how I look at it. You might have to go with Keelan Russell, but I know they're gonna continue the battle throughout the spring and the summer, and we'll see what happens when they get to the fall. To that Labor Day weekend. 'Cause that's what it matters when they start announcing who's gonna start, who ain't. So I don't have a dog in the fight. I really don't care who wins. I just want the best quarterback to play. I want the best quarterback to play to give Alabama the best chance of being successful this upcoming season. They got to fight over. And right now, I think Keelan, he showed out yesterday. I think he showed out yesterday. And I salute the kid. I salute him, and I hope he keep grinding and getting better and better. They do say before he came in, I think it was last year he was a freshman. There was like he got a lot of good talent, and he's still young. He's just a sophomore. Um, and he probably will, flourish. Like I said, I saw him do pretty good yesterday. Now I'm finna get to Ryan Williams, man. Ryan Williams was also a great talent coming out of Alabama. I mean, he had a great freshman year. A lot of people, looked at him and were like, "Damn, that boy pretty good." He was kind of up and down though in that season, but we gave it away. Kind of gave him a lot of credit because he was 17 going against all these 22, 21s. You got players who were 23 and 24 playing, in the SEC and college football, trying to check him. So, and then last year he didn't do it much as at all last year. And Bernard was our best wide receiver. He's gone now, and it's all on Ryan to me. We got some other good wide receivers. I saw them catching the ball pretty good, and we saw that kind of last year. In the later part of the year, they showed that in the Oklahoma game. We got some good wide receivers, young wide receivers, but we need Ryan to be the star. We need him to be the star wide receiver. And when he breaks out, that's gonna make the offense a little better because you have two people checking him, bracking him all over the field, and that's gonna make the other guys get one on ones. You know, they get one on ones, and they should be able to handle one on ones against different teams. And whoever at quarterback is Mack or is Russell, that'll help them out. But another thing they need that really will help them out, not just Ryan Williams, and I want him to flourish, and I want this guy to be successful because he's a junior now, and if he have a breakout year, he could go to the NFL. But he doesn't do what he if he do what he did last year, he's not gonna go to the NFL. NFL go by stats and results. They don't go by if you got talent or not. They'll do that once you get in the league, but if you trying to get in the league, you gotta have performances. You gotta have performances that's on videotape that they can see it. Especially in the SEC, you're going to get top tier talent. So he got the ball. He got a ball this year. Now I'm gonna get to the running game. Our running game was horrible last year. We got to do something about that running game. So we got a bunch of running backs. I don't know who really stood out to me. I seen them shaking them, change them in and out. But we do need a lead back. We need a lead back. Richard, I think his name Richard Young. He ended up leaving. He went to Colorado. I'm gonna talk about them in a minute. And he ended up leaving. I think he was like third screen, fourth screen for Alabama. And he's a young kid too, and he's bulked up. I hope he do very well to Colorado, but we need somebody to step up. It can be running back by committee. I'll be satisfied with that. As long as we able to run the football, because we could not run the football at all last year. That's why we were putting everything on Ty Simpson. And then Ty did with the best he could. I couldn't complain about Ty. He did the best he could. We won some games that we probably should have won. And we did get our ass whooped by Georgia in that second game, but we won the first game. And I don't even know how we won the first game because we did not score in the second half at all. And that's they can go for coaching. Alabama kind of outcoached Georgia in that first game. Georgia started coming back, but we ended up finishing off and winning in Athens. Now they got us in that second game because I think what they learned from the first game, they utilized that, and they just took over. They put they put foots all in our ass in that game in Atlanta, and deservedly so. We couldn't do anything. We couldn't run the ball, and we just couldn't run the ball all year. Now we found a way to beat Oklahoma in that playoff game in Oklahoma. That game looked like it was going to be a blowout because Oklahoma was doing their thing against us, and they had me shaking my head. But we was able to pull that game out. We had no chance at all against Indiana. And you see what Indiana turned out to be. They turned out to be the national champions. So Alabama got to do something about this running game. We got to run the football. If we can't run the football, you're going to put a lot of pressure on Mac and Russell, which one they plays. And then it's going to be on Ryan and the wide receivers to try to, generate some offense. You can't do that. You got to have a balanced offense in the SEC. You just can't be pass heavy. You can't do that. It's not going to be successful. Then you got these great defenses that's in the SEC. They just going to be pulling their ears back and just going straight at the quarterback because they know you ain't going to be able to run the ball. So play action and all that is not going to work on them. So, all right. So let me get off of Alabama. I'm going to go to Auburn. I'm not that far from Auburn, so I do know some people that, that's down there and how they look at their team. They do have a quarterback this year. Now, our problem was last year and the year before last, they didn't have a quarterback. They had a decent running game. They just couldn't throw the ball. So people started putting 8 guys in the box and trying to stop the run, and daring Auburn to throw the ball, and they couldn't do it. And they had a great wide receiver. Cam Coleman. And they had some other good receivers too. They just couldn't get them the ball because the quarterback was terrible. And the Auburn quarterback's been terrible for I want to say the last 4 or 5 years. They had some bad quarterbacks. But this year, I watched the South Florida guy, I think his name is Byron. What's his name? Byron Brown. Came from South Florida. I saw him play the last couple of years. He's been solid. He's been a pretty good player. We don't know what he's going to do in the SEC level. I know he can run. He got a good arm. He's going to be running the same offense that he ran in South Florida because his head coach is now the head coach at Auburn. So, but the problem with them is the receivers. They don't. All their receivers are young. All the receivers that Auburn had, they left. Cam Coleman was the biggest one. He's going in Texas. He went to Texas. So. I think he's going to shine with Arch Manning. I got Texas on my board. It's the top SEC team right now. And I got Georgia number 2. I got those 2 teams playing each other in Atlanta. That's just for right now. That's what I believe right now because I think they got Alabama like number 5 in a preseason ranking for us the conference. And I think that's right. I think that's accurate. I do think Alabama's by the 5th best team in the SEC. but it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tough. We got a hard schedule, and like I said, for Auburn, they got a good running back in Jeremiah Cobb. I think he ran for 969 yards off my memory from last year. He had 5 rushing touchdowns. He's going to get more. He's going to be the lead back. I think Auburn can run the ball with him because Byron, he's going to run off the edges too. He's going to run. He's going to run the football, but they got to be able to pass the ball. Auburn's going to be able to make a bowl game. I think they just trying to make a bowl game. That's what I think. Now Auburn defense, they were solid. They defense was better than our defense the last couple of years. They just, they was on the field for too long. They was on the field a long time, and they could never, get wins. To get recognized to being one of the top defenses in the SEC and the top defenses in the country. It was on the offense, and they were wearing them boys out on the defensive side because it was on the field all game. So but we'll see if the defense remains the same as it was the last couple of years. I know they got some players that they lost too. We'll see how they develop on defense. And their offensive line, I think Auburn offensive line was pretty good. Because like I said, they was able to run the ball. They just couldn't pass the ball. I think the problem was the quarterback, but we'll see how their offensive line is, coming into this year. And Auburn's schedule is better than Alabama's schedule. I'm going to look at their schedule real quick. Give me a second. Because I know they play Baylor in Atlanta. Yeah, they play Baylor in Atlanta. That's going to be like a 50-50 game. Because Auburn, Baylor in the Big 12, they coaches on the hot seat. So that's like a 50-50 game. They could win that game. Now, if Auburn win that game, they'll beat Southern Miss. They got Florida. That's a 50-50 game because Florida got a new coach. And Auburn will be at home in that game in Jordan Hare. So I look at it, I'm like, okay, Florida, they rebuilding everything. Vanderbilt, they got a new quarterback. Ain't no more Diego Pavia. He gone. Auburn got a chance to win that game. That's a 50-50 game. And then right after that, they had Tennessee. Tennessee, quarterback is gone. So they got to figure out who they gonna have at quarterback. So that game is gonna be tough because it's on the road because it's in Neyland Stadium and they're really really loud up there. But Auburn got a shot. They got a chance of winning that game. Now they play at Georgia. I don't think they're gonna win that game against Georgia. I'm just saying I got Georgia the second best team in the SEC. After that they got LSU. I don't know what the hell Lane Kiffin gonna do. So I don't know we'll know better once that game comes up. We'll know what these two teams start looking like when they get ready to play each other. That game is at Auburn. Then they had Ole Miss. Right now, I'm gonna say Ole Miss is gonna beat Auburn. Their quarterback is back. They got some good players that also came back to Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss is gonna be a pretty good team. I think they got them. I want to say SEC media got them like number 6 right behind Alabama when it comes to the top teams in the conference. I think Ole Miss is better than Alabama because they got that quarterback back. Trinidad was really, really good. So Arkansas, Auburn, they play them. I don't know what Arkansas got. I really don't. But I think Auburn have a good chance of winning that game. Then they play Mississippi State. They got a big chance to win that game. Sanford, they're going to win that game. So. And then they had Alabama in the Iron Bowl. Auburn got a better schedule than Auburn got a better schedule than Alabama. Our schedule is tough. We got to get with it on our schedule for Alabama. We definitely got to get with it. And I got one more team I'm gonna talk about in 1 second. Give me 1 second. It's gonna be Colorado. I support Dion. I've been supporting him ever since he was in the SWAC. So. I'm rooting for him. I'm definitely going to see him. I'm going to try to go see that first game. They playing that in Atlanta. They playing Georgia Tech. I'm going to try to go see that game. I do want to see the Alabama game as well. I haven't chosen what game I want to see. But Colorado, they got a good quarterback in Juju Lewis. I like the kid. I watched him play the last couple games at the end of the season. He looks good. I think if he keep progressing, I think he gonna be better than Shador when Shador was at his height at Colorado, which was their last season. And when Colorado had won 9 games that year. I think Juju is gonna be better than Shador. Shador has some great stats, you know. But the problem is Juju needs some receivers, and all these receivers are young. Now I know that one wide receiver he ended up making a good. Those two guys end up making two, good connections that they might hit it off. Let me see real quick. Yeah, they end up losing Cecile Brown. I ain't the other kid name. I can't remember the other kid name. Joseph Williams, yeah. I like Joseph Williams. I like him. I like Cam Perry. He came from Northern Illinois. I remember him playing the last couple of years. He been a solid guy. He's an older guy. He's when he probably fifth year senior. Think he's going to be good. They got another wide receiver named DeAndre Moore. Um, this other guy named Danny. How you say this? Sadaro. That is how you pronounce his name. But I know him and Joseph Williams. They was making a lot of noise in them last couple games that Juju was playing in. But now he got some more receivers. They look like they're gonna be able to do something as far as passing the ball. And then, like I said before, they got our running back from Alabama, um, and we're gonna see how he does by running the football. But Richard Young's gonna be running the football down there. He's the #1 running back at Colorado. But it always fall down the offensive line. They end up losing Jordan Seaton. He went to LSU, so we'll see what Colorado got on as far as the offensive line. If they able to protect Juju and give him time, I think he'll be able to. He can read the defense and he can deliver the ball. He can pass. He's not a big time runner. He can scramble. He's not a big time runner. So I think Colorado will be good on the offensive line. Offense as long as the offensive line can block for Juju, and they got to be able to run the ball too. Colorado got to be able to run that ball. It's because you don't want everything on your own quarterback. And because in the Big 12 got some good defense too, and they're gonna be, pulling their head back and just going after the Juju. If you can't run the football, you got to be a balanced offense. This is the only way you're gonna be able to succeed. Now Colorado do got a new offensive coordinator. He's running that go offense. He came from Sacramento State, so we'll see what he can do. Now on defense, man, Colorado wasn't all that good on defense, for real, for real. And we'll see what they can do. I know they changed some things up, but we'll see. Like I said, I'm gonna be there. I'm planning on being there, God willing. And I'm gonna be there and watch them play their first game in Atlanta when they play Georgia Tech. But they schedule too. Let me check their schedule. Because I don't think he's nothing too hard. Because the Big 12, it's a tough conference, but it's not any dominant teams in that conference. Okay, so Colorado got Weber State right after Georgia Tech. They're at Northwestern. That's a winnable game. Baylor, like I said, Baylor, they got to play Auburn, so their coach is on the hot seat. That's a winnable game. Now, Texas Tech, I think they're going to definitely lose that game against Texas Tech. Texas Tech got some fire. You saw that last year. They made it all the way to the college football playoff. Now, they end up losing in the second round. They lost in the second round, so, but, yeah, they lost to Oregon there in the second round down in Miami. But they got some fire. Utah had some fire last year. And Utah gonna be tough. Oklahoma State, they rebuilding. So you got a chance in that game. That's at Oklahoma State. The previous game, when I say Utah, that's at home, Colorado. But I don't think they're gonna win that game either. So I already looking at 2 losses. They got Kansas State. I don't know. I don't know about Kansas State. They got a new coach. They coach ended up stepping down. So usually Kansas State is a pretty good team. So they kind of fell off last year. They didn't live up to what everybody's expectation was for them. They kind of fell off, and the coach just stepped down. They had Arizona State. Arizona State will be pretty good again this year. I know Omarion Miller went there, who I liked it at Colorado. He transferred and went to Arizona State, and I think Arizona State will utilize him definitely in this game. You know, so I think Arizona State probably, they might win that game over Colorado. Houston, they spanked Colorado last year. So this is going to be a revenge game. It's going to be back in Colorado. And Houston looked real good too. So we'll see how they going to go in that game. And then at Cincinnati. Cincinnati's Cincinnati was a pretty good team last year, but their quarterback Hornsby, he's left. So we'll see what's left for that game. So I probably say, Colorado has a shot. They have a chance in that game. UCF, they have a chance in that game. So that's their last two games. Yeah, it's kind of tough schedule. But same thing. What I said about Auburn, I gotta put it on Colorado. Gotta try to make a bowl game. I think that's the end goal. You gotta find a way to get 6 wins. To get people off your back. They're paying you good money. So I know your health was up and down last year. Hopefully, God willing, your health is good this year. You gotta shut them naysayers up. Like I say, I'm gonna be there for that first game, see what you got. Like I say, Auburn gotta make a bowl game, Colorado gotta make a bowl game. Now Alabama, my squad, it ain't no bowl game. We trying to make college football playoff every year. And we want to go to the SEC championship again. And this time win it. We had no shot against Georgia last year. But and I knew it. I knew we had no shot against Georgia. When I found out we had to play them in Atlanta, this is Georgia from beat up. And they did. They did. And so I don't know. I don't know what the expectations for Alabama, because I know what the expectation. I just said the expectation. I just don't know what's realistic. I don't know what's realistic for us, because we get new quarterbacks. We got to see what Ryan Williams gonna do. We got to get him. He got to do something this year. He got to do something. He got to do it, and we got to get something out the running game. So, and our defense, I think our defense gonna be straight. I was watching the boy hitting the other day for the 8A game. I think our defense is gonna be okay. I don't think they're gonna be great, but as long as they do what they did last year, I think they will be all right. Because I didn't really complain too much about our defense. But boy, offense got to get it going. We got to get a running game, find a running game. But hey, it's your boy Will. That's all I got for this video. I'm gonna have some more college football content. I'm gonna keep coming at you with all type of videos. So this is Unbiased, and I'm out.